Williams with 502 Cafe, Smokehouse, and Sports Bar. We're working on a brisket today. It's going to take about 14, 16 hours to cook, and it'll be nice and tender and juicy when it's done. Packer brisket, 12.6 pounds. You always want to get the whole packers. What a lot of people do at Kroger's and places like that, they sell what they call the flat, which is, brisket is, you got your point, and you have your flat. And what they do at Kroger's is they'll slice down the middle through the big fat vein, and they separate the two. But what I do is I use the whole brisket because there's a ton of flavor in this part that they're cutting off. They just cut it off because this will cook super fast. This is where your time is. So what I'll do is I'll always just kind of go through. There's always gonna be some like loose fat, and you want to leave some of the fat because the fat, I mean, that's where your flavor's at. And this is called the fat cap. It's the really fatty side. It'll stay real chewy if you leave it on there. But once you cut some of it off, it'll break down the collagens in it, and it is edible. So what I do next is I'll rub it with our dry rub. Garlic, onions, or garlic powder, onion powder, chili powder, pepper, salt. Well, I put some brown sugar in mine. I think that really adds an extra little flavor boost. Simple. Now the rest is just time. And I always put them on fat side up. A lot of cooks do it the other way, fat side down, but I like to do it up because the fat kind of melts through the meat, gives it extra flavor. Put it right on the rack. I always put, well, if you have a hotter part of the grill or smoker, I'll always put the fatter end, the point, towards the heat. When it reaches 165-ish, and then I'll wrap it, which is what you have here. What happens is the meat stalls. It happens somewhere between 135 and 150. It'll just hold that temperature for an hour to 2 hours and just won't move. That's when a lot of people get frustrated when they're making them because it's sitting there and it's not changing. They think they're doing something wrong, but that's just what the meat does. I pull them just a hair under 200 and we let it rest. It's been resting for probably about 30 minutes.
Resting's important.
Yeah, it lets the juices redistribute throughout the meat. Just kind of the same thing with a steak. If you cut into it right when it comes off the grill, all the juices just explode out of it instead of coming back together. If you overcook it, it will not remain sliced like this. It will kind of just fall apart and you end up with more of a chopped beef than like a sliced brisket. You can refrigerate it and reheat it. If you are gonna reheat, you wanna reheat slowly and low because you didn't cook it at a very hot temperature, so you don't wanna reheat it at a very hot temperature either.